Yo, yo, yo. What is up? What is up, everybody? Uh, for those of you watching live with me, I appreciate it a lot. For those of you who are catching the recording, this is essentially going to be some breakdown of the scanner, some current trades that are actually taking place right now to basically showcase a lot of what a retest would look like and just give you examples of variations on how the market will play out after we um, get the trade from the scanner, step one. Then step two, trap price. Step three, which is where we're currently at on one of them, which I've already had prepared. And then also just over the course of the next 20 minutes, 30 minutes, however long this goes, seeing how price reacts to the levels that we've drawn up on the chart. Because ultimately, at the end of all this, the candles are going to move regardless, whether we draw on the charts or whether we do not draw on the charts, whether we put a zone there, whether we do not put a zone on the chart at all whatsoever. So, but before I get into that, I want to just kind of lay down some of the foundational groundwork when it comes to the mindset of this. So I actually just got off a trading call with Mike Miles, and he definitely laid down a lot of the just mental aspects of all of this too as well, because 90% of trading is between the ears. It's all in your mind, it's all in your brain, it's all about the thoughts that you have and your disciplines mentally, putting yourself in that state of being ready to attack the markets, being ready to basically accept your fate of being a trader and entering positions. I heard a quote once too as well that said, "You're not a trader until you have a position." That may be true, but the best traders that I know always understand that sometimes the best trade you can take is the one that you don't, because the stigma will usually be like, "Oh, well, trading is supposed to be about increasing your account balance. Trading is supposed to be about being right." No, it's not. For me personally, trading is just about disciplines, sticking to the rules and parameters that you've set up previously, following and sticking to a specific strategy. Mike Miles loves bringing up this quote of Bruce Lee. And the quote basically says that I fear not the man who practiced 10,000 kicks one time. I fear the man who practiced one kick 10,000 times. And that's all trading is. It's practicing the same thing over and over again, because what happens in the market, the same patterns over and over again. We went over some of the back testing yesterday, which was an unrecorded session, but tonight I'm going to be going basically in depth on it. So you can go back to this video, watch it over again, and really see how some of these things will play out. And then also how, um, because tomorrow will be Thursday, September 22nd, or tomorrow will be Thursday, September 22nd, or September 21st, my bad. But I want to start with this. I want to start with the harmonic scanner. And I want to just showcase what we're basically looking for. For those who already don't know, when we look at the scanner, we're looking for number one, big patterns, large patterns, and we want price to be at a really, really high place in the market or at a really, really low place in the market, depending on whether it's calling it out for a long or a short position. So as we go down the list here, GJ, just by looking at it, not really too interested in it, really kind of choppy. Let's go down the list, stay away from that one. Euro JPY. This one, yeah, again, not really a huge pattern, so I'm going to stay away from this one. Even if we were to catch a break and a retest of that side, 60 pips, not bad. But again, we're looking for the trend reversals. That's what the scanner is doing. The scanner is actually scanning the whole entire market and giving us these high probability trade setups. So it doesn't mean to just like enter the buy when you see Euro JPY on the 1 hour that has a shark pattern. It doesn't mean just press buy and set your take profits and set your stop loss. It doesn't mean that. You could do it, but what I've learned from watching Chris religiously and studying Chris Terry a lot is that excuse me, there's going to be things in the market that will happen, and there's also going to be things that you see happen that you're not going to take advantage of, that you're not going to respond to. But again, when we go into this, when we go into the charts, all we're simply doing is drawing these boxes, drawing a ceiling box, floor box, waiting for price to break that ceiling box, go back into the ceiling box, confirm it as a floor box, and then move away from it. That's it. We have specific tools, scanners, and strategies and parameters and risk management in place to make this all congruent and make this all seamless. But until we get the thing in between our ears right, and until we understand that this is truly a mental game, and it's all about how you handle, like, what is your attitude when it comes to this? What is your attitude? Are you really like extremely euphoric when you're in the profits, and are you extremely depressed and sad when you're in the negatives? And if you're learning to control these things too, it corresponds to life a lot. So I see a lot of people where they'll be like extremely excited to talk to people about trading for doing the residual side of things. And they'll be extremely, hyped to essentially like be reaching out to everybody because they're having a good time. They're like in the blue and whatnot. But then when it's in the red, they're like, I don't want to even be talking to anybody. I don't even want to be close to the campfire right now because I deserve it, because I put myself in these positions, because truly the market is just you versus you. And I know I've been guilty of this a lot. And I know a lot of the 6, 7, 8, 9 figure traders that I've learned from have also had to deal with these lessons and also had to deal with these problems that come about. It's just about your attitude towards the problem and how the solution comes about. It's not your lack of resources. We all have access to the same stuff. It's about your resourcefulness and using that, and then gaining metrics, gaining data, putting the chart time in, actually dedicating yourself, getting a trading journal, listening to the educators that are being paid very, very handsome amounts of money to showcase this type of knowledge. I am doing this for free on YouTube, so take it with a grain of salt. Not saying that I'm better than anybody or that I'm a guru or whatnot, but I've just learned things, and I'm simply applying the disciplines that I've learned and that have been ingrained into my brain. And I will continue to keep doing this because I know that consistency is about stacking those little wins. It's about stacking those little wins, not in the market, but the little wins in terms of, did you get up this morning? Did you make your bed? Did you get dressed? Did you eat? Did you smile at somebody? Did you do something that made you happy? Did you put yourself in a state to be primed to even get on the markets and have discipline and emotional intelligence? Not be a chicken and be patient. Because all this $8 trillion a day industry is a transfer of wealth from the impatient people, people who want it right away, the microwave mentality people, to those who are more disciplined in terms of their patience. We're willing to wait 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, even 9, 10 days for a setup to happen, for a retracement to happen, for a retest to happen. So it's going to take a lot of discipline, patience, and discernment when it comes to your own personal stuff. Because again, trading is going to keep happening whether you participate in it or not. And like really, the candles kind of sort of do not even care about what you draw on the charts. They're just going to do what they were going to do anyways. That's why it's called currency, because it's currently happening right now. So you have to be in the present moment to understand what is fully going on. And then when you put an action into place, being confident in that with the usage of the tools. So started with the scanner, understanding this. So we're going to go down. We're going to see if there's anything just at the moment right now within all of this. So CAD JPY, not really. Euro USD, already kind of played out. Small kind of pattern there. Also a odd CAD. Euro odd. Small pattern already kind of played out. And then now we're getting into the older ones. Actually, this one, GBP NZD. I really like this one. So do you see the difference between these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 versus GBP NZD. You see how it's kind of like the pattern is still not even showing candles yet? I have to scroll right into the chart, like way, way into the chart for it to even show the actual candles. See, there they are. Now you can finally see the candles. And this structure is actually really perfect because I can showcase what had already happened and what we could be potentially preparing for. So I'm going to get in depth on this. I'm actually going to scroll out at first because we want to see, we want the foresight. So what are we basically up against? So something as simple as this, because of this scan, this GBP NZD bat pattern called out from Harmonics is basically saying, hey, we want price to eventually run all the way back up to ideal goal 3. I also see highs up here as well, which says 753 pips. So it could be $753, 7,533, or 75,000, all depending on the capital and equity within your account. Now, remember, trading involves risk. Past results do not indicate future results. Results are not typical, and it does require a lot of hard work. But this is a good one to focus on because it will take maybe days, maybe a month for it to fully complete the pattern. This over here, OddCAD, looks like a completed pattern because it hit the targets, right? Your odd, basically a completed pattern, almost at touching goal 3. GBP NZD barely scratching the surface of starting to reverse on the trend. That's why this is so appealing. So if we're that type of person that's patient enough to get in here and actually set stuff up instead of just going, trigger happy, I'll show you. And what's really neat is you can actually mark stuff up on the actual scanner as well too. Really powerful. So does everybody see that zone right there? So that'd be our ceiling. Everybody see that ceiling? And then this one down here as well. Okay. What did price eventually end up doing? It had the ceiling here, broke through the ceiling, and retested this ceiling as a new found floor. Now, keep in mind for this, there was some drawdown, but because with the price trap strategy, we're never risking more than 3%. So if you have $100, you're only risking $3. That's 3%. So let's see if you were to enter right here, you'd be up 92 pips, and that was 43 pips of drawdown. So depending on where you got your entry, could have gotten stopped out on this one. Just being real, just being honest, just being truthful. Because some people are gonna, like, again, when these markets do these types of things to wick people out, this is all manipulated. This whole thing is orchestrated. I don't want to get too much into that. I want to just keep it simple. Price did this, it broke, retested. If you were to see that retest, because at one point this whole candle was a full red candle, finally went back up, closed, started to make a blue candle and go upwards. So if you were to enter anywhere up there, that would have been your confirmation. Plus, then you can utilize impulse to confirm even further. And it's essentially this purple box that we want to be capturing and duplicating. That's all trading price trap really is. It's just duplicating this right here, this purple box. Or, yeah. Can't even see the color. Yeah, you guys see that? Duplicating this purple box, this box right here. If we're able to get ahead of this trend and we see it continue to just float all the way up to complete this full pattern, we're getting ahead of the trend. We're positioning ourselves in front of a trend before it becomes obvious to everybody. Because once it does its full move, people up here are like, oh man, I should keep buying. What happens if it reverses? What happens if it just totally says, no, I don't care what you think. I'm the market. I'm Forex. I have $8 trillion of capital going through me every single day. And I'm just going to do what I want to do. And you just have to simply be in that present moment and respond. But this is just to basically showcase like potentials, right? We want to be able to capitalize on these first initial moves once the scanner's called out. Probably the most underrated and overlooked product in terms of a scanner and in terms of technology helping us with this whole entire trading journey. So let's get back to this. Euro NZD was called out on Tuesday's session with Chris Derrick, and we did some adjusting. So it was trapped up here. Price actually moved down, created a new floor, moved back up, created a new ceiling. So price is trapped between this floor and this ceiling. It broke a little bit further. So all you can do here is just keep adjusting. So you can just literally drag your zone down here. Okay. Then price went up, didn't actually go back into the ceiling, went all the way down, made this huge wick. So potentially you could be drawing your zone way down here because that's still a valid area of retracement. But for the sake of the example, we're just going to keep it right here. Then what did price eventually end up doing? Didn't actually close below this zone, so it's still valid over here as well too. It just continued to move up, and it looks like it broke. This is where we see on the hour, it closed outside of the zone. We drop down to the 15-minute. So we see more insight of what's actually truly happening right here. And you don't have to just stay on the 15-minute. This app called TradingView, it has the ability to go down to 5-minute. So you can get even more surgical with it. That's what Chris Derrick always talked about, becoming surgical with it. Having the Mamba mentality of Kobe Bryant practicing hundreds and hundreds of free throws while nobody's even in the gym watching him before public practice. That's what you're doing here on the 5-minute or the 3-minute or even the 1-minute if you want to go truly hardcore with it. 3-minute. Let's see what it looks like. These tools are all available for us to see. It's called Trading View because you can look at anything. You can view it however you'd like and then choose to be in that present moment and make your decision with confidence, using proper risk. And then, like, for example, let's go back to the 1 hour. If this were to fully play out and we did see a retest and a confirmation of this zone to hit back those levels over there, 280 pips potential. So it could be $280, could be $2,800, could be $28,000, all depending on the capital and equity within your account. Why I love trading foreign exchange is because it's the same concept it takes to make $1 in the market. It's the same concept it takes to make $1 billion in the market. It all depends on the capital and equity within your account, plus your leverage, plus your lot size as well. But it all comes back to that mentality, that mindset. Because if you don't have that straight, it's 90% up here, 10% on the charts. You drew a ceiling, you drew a floor. Broke the ceiling, it's becoming a floor. But if you're not patient for it to actually show signs of green candle, green candle, green candle going out of the zone, confirming that this is a newfound floor for you to press buy, come on. Okay, so that's just one example. We could potentially be, yeah, see, like, look, maybe they heard me. Just kidding. But yeah. Another thing I wanted to do as well is go back on some of these other currency pairs and give foresight as to what trend trading really is. And I wanted to do this on this one because it's just like, it looks seamless. It looks like just so nice. The action on here is so nice. So I wanted to just give some ideas when it comes to what a trade week could look like potentially and how to get yourself positioned properly, both mentally and also on the charts. So we're going to mark that floor. We're going to mark this ceiling. So imagine none of this is like on the screen, okay? So none of this has even happened yet. You just see price up here, hit this, create a ceiling, go down, create a floor. Ceiling, ceiling, floor, floor, breaks the floor, becomes a ceiling, drops. So this right here essentially would be your entry. And remember how I was talking about duplicating this purple box? This is essentially all we want to be doing within the markets is capturing this over and over and over and over again. Not that this pattern, this variation of how this took place, how it broke, green candle went back into the zone, red candle, press enter, and then you collect your 30 pips. Let's say you just entered off this candle right here. So you collected your 30 pips with 54 potential. If you had a 2 pip stop profit in place, it got hit. What do? You reset. What did price eventually end up doing though? It kept dropping and it made a new found floor, ceiling. The the floor never got broken and became a ceiling though. So there's all this, and I'll highlight it with this. There's all this types of, this looks like just indecision. It's just up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. This would have been a good place to readjust. Take a step back. Let the market breathe for a second. You caught your 30 pips up here, 2 pip stop profit hit. Perfect. Market made a huge move. Might have been a huge major news event up here. I don't care. I don't watch the news. Yeah, it happens, but news always respects technicals. So if you see these things happening, great. Readjust, realign, reset. There's nothing wrong with deleting everything, starting from scratch, drawing up your zones, how you see it, being in that present moment, taking action while respecting your parameters, and then going from there. Like it's truly invigorating and truly powerful and liberating to be in charge of your own journey. But it is a good and a bad thing though, because it's you versus you. And there is greed. There is also lack and scarcity. There's also abundance and wealth and the idea of accumulation and um, the law of increase and whatnot, and all these other aspects of everything. So once we see this like huge kind of like indecision where it's like consolidating, it's just going left, it's just going, the market is going sideways. It's not going up, it's not going down, it's not doing really much of anything. But what we could do, get rid of this, is we could just keep going with our strategy and our plan, which is we're drawing up ceilings and we're drawing up floors. So we see price go down here, create a new ceiling, right? What did price eventually end up doing? Breaking the floor and becoming a ceiling. So there you go. There's that pattern again. So is this starting to make sense where it's the same thing over and over again? It just looks different every single time because all these world events accumulating the $8 trillion is making these things happen, making these patterns appear on these charts on this TradingView app. So let's say, yeah, you see price do the break, close below, green candle, taps in. You see it. Let's say you entered after this red candle. That's a cool 127 pip potential. What did we say about duplicating that purple box? Just duplicate that purple box. Watch for these patterns. When it happens, great. Awesome. Reset. Keep going with the strategy though. Because once you see it make that huge move, what did it do? Create another ceiling and create another floor. So what do? We just draw it up. So we draw it up down here. And again, we see Price doing the exact same thing, but it just looks different. We see it bouncing above it. Price is bouncing above it like a floor, above it like a floor. Finally breaks the floor, green candle into the zone, retests, and then drops. Takes a while because remember, this is the 1 hour. So each one of these candles represents 1 hour. But imagine 1, 2, 3 hours it broke. 1 hour it retests. Another hour it drops. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 hours. You were collecting, 93 pips. But ultimately, what is the idea behind that? You're duplicating the purple box. So just from an entry over here, and because you were in the present moment, and because you saw I respected your drawings, you were able to collect that portion. You were able to get a crumb of a crumb of a crumb of a crumb of $8 trillion. And then what do you keep doing? Does anybody know the answer? Just keep duplicating that purple box. Because you can go back on, let's say, the 15-minute or the 5-minute or even the 3-minute or the 1-minute on each of these yellow circles indicating entries and be like, I want to get laser surgical tunnel vision about what truly was happening at this specific time in this specific place in this market for this specific currency pair. And realizing that, hey, it did that, I did something, and then it responded because I responded. So if you're capitalizing on these moves, you're not only getting the first initial move and then getting another initial move, but yet another one. And then price eventually ended up retracing. So it's like 600 pips right there, just from the first initial move. Now, I'm not sure if this was called out on the scanner, but it's just for educational purposes to showcase what is truly happening and what could potentially be upcoming in the future in terms of foresight. Because we don't know what's going to happen. We truly don't. All we know is how to conduct ourselves. We can control our thoughts, we can control our actions, and we control our feelings. If we can master that, get the mentality proper, the rest of this stuff is going to come easy. But you just got to put the time in. Time. Things I must do. What must you do? What is the answer? The answer is drawing on the charts. If you truly want to be a better trader, if you truly want to make 6, 7, 8, 9 figures like you say you do, are you just backing up your work ethic with real actions that are going to get you towards that specific goal? Do you have a definiteness of purpose that includes what you are going to be disciplined on doing on a day-to-day basis? Do you? If you don't, it's okay. Because the first step is being aware of that and getting reality check up from the neck up, if you will. Shout out to Alex Morton. But yeah, let's delete all this and get into the current moment right now. Where is price? Where do we see a valid zone? Where do we see a valid ceiling? Right here. From that wick to the body of the candle. Oh. And keep in mind, everybody, what I'm doing on these charts, I'm literally doing of like a couple of my fingers on one hand. You could even do this one-handed. I drew a ceiling. I see price went down here and created a floor. So at this current moment, price was trapped. It had nowhere to go. It could either do one of three things. It could either go up, it could either go down, or it could either go sideways, as you've seen before with the consolidation and the indecision example. But this is where we put ourselves in the current moment and realize, like, hey, this market is currently happening right now as we speak. And for those of you watching the recording, it's already happened. But this is where you can get really dialed in and, get connected with the people on the same frequencies that are also looking to increase themselves in all aspects and watch. So price broke the ceiling. Great. Now, another thing that you could do too as well that I just want to mention to everybody, it's not a necessity, it's not a requirement, but the tools are there for you to utilize and help yourself. There's these things called alerts, and you can use alerts and put it right at the top of this zone, and it will actually give you a notification if you have your TradingView synced to your smartphone, and it will literally vibrate, give you a notification saying, hey, GBP NZD has crossed your alert, meaning that it went back into the zone, meaning that it went back into the previous ceiling. And then you can drop down to something like the 15-minute to see everything in a little bit more detail. And then all we do is play this game, one of my favorite games, which is follow the lines. If price doesn't do this, and if price ends up just absolutely going crazy and breaking this zone down here, breaking the floor, boom. That's what I'm looking for. That's price trap in a nutshell. It's just positioning yourself in the proper moment, not being reactive, but just waiting for the market to come to you, responding, and utilizing the disciplines, setting forth the parameters that you've already put inside of a journal, inside of a plan, a tangible thing that you can refer back to and get metrics and collect data, along with collecting those purple boxes. So awesome. Awesome. So that's one of them. UJ was also another one that was called out, and I wanted to have this deleted so you guys can see another potential because of how high up this currency pair is. And I just wanted to showcase the top down stuff as well too. So we start with the daily. Zoom out on the daily. Where is price? Where's the ceiling of price? Right up here. And where is the floor? Right down here. So technically, on the daily, price is trapped. But this is giving you essentially sentimental analysis, because how much more confident would you feel knowing that, hey, look, price was a ceiling here on the daily, price was a floor here on the daily. What's it continuing to do? Move upwards. Where do you think it's going? Maybe do you think it's going to this previous ceiling? And maybe what happens in this ceiling? Maybe there's a couple things that happen. Maybe price just completely breaks through it and then goes back into it. How much more confident would you feel knowing that you're able to get not ahead of everybody else, but positioning yourself in front of a trend or a continuation of a trend that everybody thinks, oh, hey, it's going up to this ceiling, it's got to be a sell because look what happened in the past. What if you're that person that's patient enough to see it go higher? You're like, oh, it's going way higher. I'm just going to short it. I'm just going to short it. Waiting for the short. Everybody's like, oh, we were right. We were right. It's a short. It's a sell. Everybody get in, get in, get in, get in. And then boom, just takes off. It just continues. So this is the power of trading, and this is the power of being patient. There's also this. What if price comes into the zone, does not break it, creates a new structure, breaks that structure, retests that structure, and then falls. And this is on the daily, remember. So when we go back down to the 1 hour, or even let's say the 4 hour, we're seeing this on a different scale. We're seeing this with much less or much more detailed information. So everything we just drew up on the daily, it looks like this on the 4 hour. Do you know how many weeks we'd probably have to wait for one of these things to happen? Or days? My goodness. But doesn't that give you just more, doesn't that just expand your mind onto like what the confidence that will give you to like, yeah, we could trap price on the 1 hour and wait for a break and a retest on the 15-minute, confirm with impulse, even go lower time frames than that. But look at the daily. You have to step back, zoom out to zoom in. You have to slow down to speed up. So, but back to the 1 hour or this one, if we're just resetting everything and controlling what we can see, it's just as simple as where is price? Up here. It's a ceiling. And it's a floor. And this is a cool setup as well too. I like this one a lot just simply because of how tight it is. The tighter it is, it's like kind of like a coil, like on a suspension or something. The more it's tight, the more it's being compressed, the more it's going to spring outwards, the more it's going to blow up or burst out exponentially. And that's providing those shifts in momentums or those really strong continuations. But when Chris Terry was teaching Chris Berderick how to do all of this and how to really understand how the markets move, there's always a move in either direction. So there's either going to be this or this. There's going to be a move, a fake out, or enticement, whatever label you want to put on it, whatever word in the human language you want to use. Then there's going to be something called a correction, which would basically be a retest. And then there's something called the real move. Boom. The real move. And just as I showed you previously with the examples, that's all we're looking for. We are just trying to duplicate the purple box that the market gives us. We can't talk to the market maker. There's not like one guy behind all this. It's trillions and trillions of dollars of currency fluctuating through this. And we all make it happen. So this is the part that we can control, this right here, this 1 hour. And then this on the daily and sometimes even on the weekly is just giving you that insight. So let's say, yeah, like if we were to see price break that ceiling, become the floor on the 1 hour, how much more confidence would you have knowing that it has 356 pips to get to that daily zone to then break 551 pips, retrace another 200 plus pips to continue on for, 1,000 or more. Just gives you a little bit more insight, just kind of opens your mind a little bit more to realizing what the bigger picture is here. Yeah, sure, we can play at the small levels of the 1 hour and the 15-minute and the 30-minute and whatnot, but at least understanding that is giving you so much more information and knowledge that you can then turn around and practice, put your chart time in, draw your zones, draw your ceilings, draw your floors, draw everything up, get metrics, get data, and then come back a year later, come back 2 years later and be like, What have I learned? What have I truly, truly embodied? What emotions have I felt? What emotions have I not liked feeling? And be aware of these things. But I'm going to go ahead and end it there. For those of you live with me, is there any questions? Is this all making sense? Good. Amazing, amazing. Perfect. Well, I want to thank each and every single one of you guys for watching live with me here this evening. And for those of you on the replay, thanks again for watching. The link for the Telegram is not going to be in the chat. And I want to wish each and every single one of you guys a wonderful, wonderful rest of your Thursday, morning, evening, or night, whenever you're watching this. And I hope something good happens to you today. Love and light. All the best. And we'll see you on the next session.